music went through the modernist.
Yes, and it's still going to.
When does it end?
It doesn't end, hopefully.
It just keeps on going.
Yes. Well, we can speak about the quality of these modern pieces because sometimes you have, for example, Charles Ives, who had this idea that everything is music, even silence, and he has this very famous composition, 4:33. It's 4 minutes and 33 seconds that you sit on a piano and you don't play. So you just come, you bow, and then you sit, and after 4 minutes. You are done.
And it's
what he wanted to prove, what he wanted to prove is that nowadays everything is music. So all sounds that you hear, all noises that you make can be classified as music.
Okay.
So this was what was happening in the 20th century. A lot of radical ideas, a lot of tries to create, to be innovative.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
It's funny because I like his other compositions, and this was very popular when I was studying, because when you're not prepared enough, you could just say, okay, I'm playing that composition. But actually nobody was allowed to go to the exam and play this composition. But it's an interesting...
But it's clear, right, why nobody's allowed to do that, right? If you want to be a professional musician... skill has to matter. I mean, there has to be a way.
You have a lot of years, and of course you can perform other compositions, all compositions. It's just about of the time.
Doesn't that kind of, at least in my head, reveal this as a kind of joke? If this was considered music in the full extent of the word by everybody, if people were very honest, saying, yeah, actually this is music, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna open the case of the piano, and I'm gonna sit, I think it's like 4 minutes 33 seconds, some like very specific amount of time, and this is music, and silence is also music, and the people profess to believe that this is music. This is brilliant, probably, but you're not allowed to do that in an evaluation, right? In any sort of evaluation, you're not.
Well, you can.
Maybe nowadays the things have shifted and you can. But it's the same when a painter paints a totally white painting, and it's white, and it's nothing.
No, but
white, and then people would still contemplate on that and would find some meaning and would put it in a context. And why is it white? Why is it not with some dot of red or something? So
they're also with dots of
or a so it's a philosophical question, and we could question anything like that.
But you need to reach a certain position to do these experiments, right?
Yes.
Like that's the whole thing.
Even those composers, like everybody went to classical school. So even the most modernists, they all know how to compose a fugue. They all know. I know because I was trained to, even though I'm not a composer. So when you go through musical school, you have to know the basics, and only when you know the basics, then you can progress, and then you can try to make something out of it or invent something new. So you cannot become a composer not learning music before.
And presumably you cannot get away with the white canvas if you cannot master all their styles.
Yes.
One would hope so, right?
I think you cannot. I mean, I'm not 100%
I want to
believe in music also, like you really need the power of experimentation is only left to the hands of few, the masters of the whole department.
I think nowadays it's expected to experiment
with even at a
yes. So you learn the basic forms. You have to go through that, and as a young composer, let's say, you are encouraged to find new ways and to express something new. So not to become a cliche or
And in which way you can separate the wheat from the chaff? I mean, if experimentation, if breaking molds, if coming up with original ways of playing music is encouraged, I assume a lot of people are trying to do just that, right?
Yes,
a lot of people try to do just that.
On the concert podiums, you still mostly hear the traditional music, so the traditional classical music, so the epochs that we already know, and the composers of the 20th and 21st centuries have their own platforms or their own kind of concerts where only their music is performed, but most of the people don't really appreciate or understand a lot of what is happening. Some are curious and want to investigate, but look at the concert scene. Yes, it's always the more classic things that would attract more attention.
I think there's a
but then where do these experiments happen? Like you have other competitions maybe where you have like masters sitting and judging you.
Yes, you have.
So that's where the experimentation happens, because
when you
only a fine-tuned ear would be able to figure out, okay, that was a cool piece of experimentation.
There are people who are really specialized in this field, and then of course they can judge. I cannot judge a 21st century composer on that
but
scale.
Is that really how it works? Because that sounds like the ideal situation. It sounds like the ideal situation that you have a bunch, let's say 10 young artists, 10 young musicians that are trying to come up with their new musical style and experimenting. And then you have somebody that somehow has the capability to distinguish this is good, and only those that are good make it eventually.
Yes.
That sounds like an ideal situation.
This is how it
is. That's a very, very like strategized way of evolving something.
Yeah, that sounds, what I want to get at is that in music, I don't know if this has been the case, but in painting, for example, that's not quite with how a lot of artists make their names. Like
in music also, that's not how, like pop music or what is in vogue. There you see the evolution depends on what the mood is at that moment or what catches on.
The mainstream is a little bit plays by different rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
so I think even in art, like if you're talking about like recreating the Romantics, like a certain era, and you're trying to create art, like fine tuning and evolving that certain specific genre of art may be very different from abstract art.
So, what I'm trying to get at is to say this, what I described roughly, obviously it's a very rough description of what one would expect to be the ideal way to decide which new form of experimentation is artistically worthy and which one is not. But the history of art, at least I'm gonna cite an example from painting, it has not been quite like that. For instance, during the birth of abstract expressionism, a lot depended on who is your patron, which critic chooses you to be the new big thing. That's how we got the Pollock, that's how we got Rothko, that's how we got the big names in abstract expressionism. They were basically handpicked by a very select group of critics that you might call an art establishment, and then they built theories to justify why this particular kind of art is good and what makes art good in this new trend. It was not so much this process of looking at the object and in and of itself evaluate its artistic qualities in a more, let's say, dispassionate or objective manner, and those that follow or fulfill certain criteria, those are the ones that are going to the next big names. So I wonder if that happens in music. If
I don't think that this happens to that extent. What I see as a pattern is that new composers, almost all of them use computers in creating. So they use standard instruments, but they also use a lot of computers. So a lot of sounds and a lot of distorted kind of sounds as well. And I think that I have a friend, a colleague from my previous university, and she's now accepted at Harvard, and she's studying composition there. And I doubt that she would be accepted if she was not innovative enough, and if she didn't use also a lot of computers and a lot of these new kind of techniques. But I think this person and a lot of those people are also very skillful and talented musicians. And I really don't see that it can happen to that extent in music.
I hope so.
That you can have no essence of whatsoever and that you can still become, maybe if you're a pop musician.